Hope y'all are having a great day, evening, afternoon, night, morning, whatever, daylight savings time, whatever it may be. This is Jimmy G in the place to be, bringing you back to another episode of The Good, The Bad, The Awesome, where we unbox, give my first reaction and reviews to all things pop culture, mainly Star Wars, Transformers, anime, McFarlane figures, sprinkled in with a bunch of other stuff. So if you like that kind of stuff, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and get notified when we have new videos. Also, if you like it, consider becoming a member or giving a super thanks and some every now and then. All that goes back to the channel. Just love to still thank our sponsors, Krypto Comics, Utopia Toys and Models, and Nirvana Comics. If you live here in local in Knoxville, you should be shopping at those places. If you're not local, check out their websites. And if you're at a convention, you might find Utopia Toys and Models there. I guarantee it. But today we're gonna go to the world of Japanese animation, anime, but with big robots. This is something that came right after the Japanese G1 Transformers continuity ended with Transformers Zone, and so they moved on to something else with Takara, and that is the Brave series. And we're going to look at the final installment of that Brave series. We're going to look at a figure from that, and we're going to look at the Soul of Chogokin GaoGaiGar GX-68. We're going to play with this. We're going to put it together. We're going to have some fun. I haven't opened this yet, so you're going to see my mistakes, all that kind of stuff, but we're going to have a good time, so let's do it. This is what I am excited about. King of the Braves, GaoGaiGar, Soul of Chogokin by Bandai. I don't know how to pronounce that. Soul of Chogokin. But this has been out for a while. So there are reviews on this from even 5, 6, 7 years ago. I am just now getting my hands on it because I am just now discovering this amazing series. If you don't know much about GaoGaiGar, it is a Japanese anime. It is part of the Brave series, and this is the last installment of the Brave series. And that came out right after the Japanese line of G1 Transformer cartoons ended, and so they were looking for something to do. So Takara partnered with this company, and they came out with the Brave series. And this one, GaoGaiGar, is really cool because it's more about robots and things like it's everything that happened after Transformers was all about big robots transforming, combining, turning into things. And one of my favorite things about this anime is a couple of my favorite voice actors voice act in this anime. For instance, Dan Green, the voice of Yu-Gi-Oh, is the president of the Triple G association there. And then the other guy who is the data, like the scientist, is the voice of Joey Wheeler. And so, but GaoGaiGar, look it up. It's on Crunchyroll. You can watch the first season on Crunchyroll. There's some other seasons of that, but then when it ended. But this is great. This looks awesome. You can kind of see it's a lion and a bunch of other stuff that combine together to be a big old robot. And so I've got several other GaoGaiGar bots that will show off throughout the time that we have together on this journey we call the YouTubes, but today we're going to highlight this one, and I got this from Japan. They said it was used mainly just as a store display, and so I bought it off of eBay, and it came really quick, and so I'm excited to get into this and open this box. So let's do that. We're not going to do a time lapse because I just don't have a lot of room because of how big this box is. We're just going to open it up and set the pieces out, and so let's get it out of the box now. Holy crap, there is so much stuff here. It doesn't fit in the camera space that I have, and man, is it extremely heavy and durable made. Most of it has die-cast metal parts and stuff like that in it, but it's got a lot of parts, and I'm a little bit scared and intimidated to put this together, but I am so excited. You know me about robot lions. Robot lions look awesome, but this series, What a catchy theme song. GaoGaiGar. GaoGaiGar. Yes. So let me tell you everything that comes in the box that you get. You do get the instructions, which are in another language. So there are a lot of pictures, so hopefully I can follow what is going on, and we can make that happen. So we'll see about that. But then you also get this whole tray of goodness, which comes with like extra hands, extra parts, just a ton of stuff that you're going to get to play with your GaoGaiGar on that. So we'll put that to the side. You also get this set of hands here, which is part of one of his special moves that he does as his Final Fusion form. Final Fusion approved! Well, I shouldn't say that yet because we haven't approved it yet. You get these twin little jets that go on to the Stealth Gao, which is cool. Then this right here is part of a weapon, and I believe the other part of it is in that plastic thing. It's called the Dividing Driver, which kind of folds and bends space so that nothing gets broken and bent when he does all his battles. But it is heavy duty. It's made out of heavy duty plastic. Bandai did a really good job, and the details are spot on this thing. And then we also get a stand here. Let me get that from the back. So we got this stand that goes together like so. So pretty easy, pretty simple to put that stand on. And then we got the main pieces here. So let's start with the liner Gao. And so this is the liner Gao. It is a speed bullet train. And let me go ahead and just pull my camera up a little bit so that way I don't have to bend over to kind of show you all this kind of good stuff. But yeah, it's just like a bullet train. And they go together like so. So, you know, there's a piece that kind of puts them together. But it's made out of die-cast metal. And this actually makes up the arms, parts of the arms of GaoGaiGar, like his shoulder pads and stuff. It kind of goes like this. But it's called the Liner Gao, so it's the speed bullet train. It's got some really cool details. You can kind of see there's the cockpit right there. And then just... whoever had this before me, I couldn't tell this is used because it looks brand new. It looks brand new. So I don't know if they just kept it out of the box and then just kind of put it there, but we'll kind of put these two together like so until I can find the piece to put them together. And then let's go to the Drill Gao. Here is the Drill Gao. Too cool. These don't move, unfortunately, but this is heavy duty metal right here. Then you can feel the plastic. What's cool is the tracks do move, which is awesome. But this is one of the vehicles that comes out during Final Fusion to help with defeating evil and the bad guys. So this is so cool, and it does make up his legs on that. And then the next thing we'll look at is the Stealth Gao. Let me move Galleon out of the way. And this is the Stealth Gao. Looks like a stealth bomber. And what's cool, I believe these little jet packs right here are they kind of go underneath or something like that. I don't know where they go, but we'll figure that out. But that's the Stealth Gao. Looks just like a stealth bomber. And this actually makes up part of the head of GaoGaiGar. You can kind of see it right in there, and the chest area. But it looks very nice. I love the 3G logo right there. It says GaoGaiGar. Very nice, made out of plastic, very good. And oh, it has these move, the wings, the flaps. The flaps flap, but these flaps don't flap. So that's just so cool. So cool. And then the piece de resistance. It's Galleon. So Galleon is that mysterious lion that came from space and dropped off Monomaru to his adoptive parents, and then eventually fuses with Guy and makes up the heart and soul of GaoGaiGar. And basically when it's in its regular robot form, he's known as Gaigar. But this lion does turn into a robot, but it is made out of some heavy duty, extremely heavy metal there. So very, very cool. Mouth does open, close. Legs, you do have articulation. You can move those. You have articulation in the feet. Yeah. So you do have some playability. You have the twist in the waist there too, that you can kind of mess with this and really have some fun with it. But Bandai did a really, really great job in making this toy. I think it looks, well, it's more of a collector's model, I would say, than a toy. But let me pop this down just a hair. Let's see if I can find something to measure with. I don't know where my ruler went. I seem to have lost my ruler, but here's my phone. You can kind of see from a height standpoint and a length standpoint where we're getting at with that. So very nice, very solid materials and things like that. But a few things we want to do is we want to get this into some of its different modes. So we want to put him into GaoGaiGar mode, and then we want to kind of get the stealth Gao where it needs to go, and the drill, and kind of put the liner Gao together. So let me get that done, and I will be right back. Well, I won't put him into GaoGaiGar mode really quick. I just want to get all this stuff kind of situated where it needs to go. Okay, all together now. They are all together. GaoGaiGar. It's not GaoGaiGar yet, but we got all the vehicles and stuff put together. So let me go through and just show you what I did. Let's move you out of the way because you had the least done to you, Galleon. And you had the least done to you. But one of the things I discovered about the drill is that when you move it, that the drills are supposed to move, but for some reason my drills are not moving, so I don't know why. But when you do that, it's supposed to make those drills move. So I may have to see what's going on to make sure that it moves. But there it is. Let me just show you again: the top, the side, the bottom, and that side. So the drill Gao is right there. Now the one that had the most enhancements, well, the least we'll get to the most enhancements here. Just enhancements, that sounds like a real weird word. Now here is the line Gao, not line Gao, but it does roll. The cool thing too is it does have some bend here too as well, but that's what it's supposed to look like. The bullet train, really, really cool. Really awesome. So we'll get bullet train over here, and then here it is, the dividing driver. Very, very neat. Has its own little thing right here, dividing driver. But can't wait to put that on GaoGaiGar to see what he looks like. Now the cool thing is there's other add-ons and stuff for GaoGaiGar that I do have. I have the optional star parts kit, and then the Goldie Marg, which is really cool on that. But let's bring in the stealth Gao, and this is the one that had the most changes. And so basically what you see, you got the engines that are put on right here. And then of course these are winged out, but you can kind of see the stand. There's a little piece right there that kind of hooks in to make this all sit, and then you have this is all put back together, so that way you can have it doing its thing. It just doesn't like to pop together for some reason. It just wants to kind of every now and then pop out, but I think it looks okay for what it's supposed to do. But that's the stealth Gao. Very, very nice. Love it, love it, love it. And very cool. So the cool thing is you can do different things with this, and I'll show you here in the book. Let me pull it up. So for example, if you take it off of the stand, you can actually take the line Gao and combine it with the stealth Gao. So let me do that really quick so I can show you what that looks like. There it is. So you got this mode that you can have with the line Gao and the stealth Gao, and it snaps right in. So right down here, these little parts open up and you snap it right in there. But that looks freaking amazing. I like this. The cool thing about this toy so far, or this collectible, whatever you want to call it, is it looks like there's a lot of different playability molds, and everything is built solid. So it is just really, really nice. And so the next thing we need to do is we need to get Galleon here, and I'll bring Galleon in so you can get a better look at Galleon. Let me put the stealth Gao down. But Galleon, here he is. No changes to him. He's just the same. La 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 la. But still a very cool. But this guy will turn into Gaigar. So let's do that. Let me get him in Gaigar form so I can show you that and show you some of the other playability options you have. There's one thing I forgot to show you about Galleon. He does have a tail. It's hidden back here, a little bit tough to get out. What you need to do to get it out, you have to kind of lift this whole thing. It makes it a lot easier to get that tail out. But he does have a tail. It's whale of a tail. So so my bad, as I'm learning and discovering. This is my first time playing with this. So this, again, I'm learning all the new stuff just like you all would see. So but now let's get this into GaoGaiGar. So what's cool, maybe I'll put the transformation sequence from the cartoon in here, so that way you can kind of see that too as well. But go ahead, let's get him into GaoGaiGar. GaoGaiGar! And here he is, folks, GaoGaiGar. So we took Galleon and turned him into GaoGaiGar. Not too difficult of a transformation. I probably could have shown it on camera. I had to try it on my own first, see how it went, and very, very, very simple. Now, of course, you can tell, you know, he's a lion that turned into a mecha here, and Guy is the one who is inside of this mecha. And I'll put a picture of Guy so you can see what he looks like. He's a cyborg. But very nice figure. The white and the gold really contrast, and you get a lot of accessories to go along with this figure. You got 3 different sets of hands that you can kind of change out if you want to. There's the second set right there. And there's the third set right there. And then you get an alternate face, so where he's kind of like, you know, screaming and yelling there. That's awesome. And so we may put that face on. And then you have the robot itself, which can merge with other things in different forms and different fashions. And I'll show you how that works here in just a moment. But we're going to take a look and take a closer look at GaoGaiGar here. Let me pop the camera up. We'll bring GaoGaiGar in, but just take a look at the detail. I love the lion on the chest there. That is just freaking phenomenal. Amazing, stupendous, wondermous. I don't care what you call it. That's what it is. And it is late at night, and so my adjectives are getting weird. But you got the green there, which should have the GGG there, but very, very nice details overall. Just a lot of white with the gold accents and the gray, and then of course the orange feet that you can kind of see there. Now, fun fact, I was looking up GaoGaiGar, and I'll show you I'll show you GaoGaiGar in his full form here in a little bit, but he is 101 feet, and so I just kind of looked up and so was going, how big is he compared to Voltron? And so Voltron is actually 3 times as large, so so very, very big. Now, one of the things with this with GaoGaiGar here, he just is not wanting to stand up straight for me because his feet are a little loosey-goosey there, but I got him standing. So yeah, he's about 101 feet. Voltron's about 328 feet. Now, he's not 101 feet. GaoGaiGar is. But here he is compared to my phone to show you just from a scale how big he is. And we'll get some other bots in here to kind of show you too as well. But let's go over some articulation here first really quickly. And you do get quite a bit. So the head is on a swivel ball joint that you can put. The arms do rotate. They are on tight, but they do rotate. And sometimes you just feel like, dude, if I go too far, will it break? But you can rotate it. You do have elbow bend here as well. The fingers do fing. They have fingers that do fing here. So I have my thumbs, and my fingers can pop out if I want them to here. Only on like 1, 2, and then 3 right there. So don't know why that's there. They give you some fists and stuff, but I think it's here mainly for the transformation, because when you store it, these fists are a bit smaller. As far as bending out, you get no outward bend there, but you get it right there. That's cool. There we are. And then you also got elbow bend right there, and yeah, that's pretty cool. Nice. I like that. Waist, you got the swivel. You don't have an ab crunch, so to speak, just because of the nature of this being a combiner. But for the legs, you can almost Jean-Claude it. You can see it's on a ratchet. So that leg is on a ratchet joint, but that's about as far out you're going to go there. As far as up, you're going to kick you got this kind of gets in the way of kicking it all the way up, but for the knee, you get about a 90-degree bend. You do have, it can bend further up like that because it is a lion, so to speak. So you do have to have that kind of bend. You don't have really any twist. You got a little bit, but not much. But the legs, you do have ankle and all that kind of twilt on it. So there it is. And changing out the accessories is very, very simple. All of these are on a ball joint. And so you just pop that off. I said easy, there we go. Pop it off, and then you pick the hand that you want. And so we'll put on this one here. And ball joints are always fun, aren't they? They are a ball. Yeah, I said you put them on, but then it's like, no, we're not going to let you put me on because you're an idiot, Jimmy. So come on. Well, anyways, I'll get it on here in just a moment. Taking it off is simple. Putting it on is tough. Now, if I want to put the alternate faceplate on, I'm going to have to pop the head off. And then this should just pop out like so. And I may keep this faceplate in because I like the angry GaoGaiGar, the open mouth. There we go. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice indeed. And then we just pop that back on, and there we go. And so he is ready for battle. Let me see if I can pop a hand off and get his hands on there. Give me just a second. So I was able to get the other hands on. Just took some finagling and some wiggling, but we were able to get them on. And I like these hands. These hands are a bit better proportionate than these hands here. These hands aren't quite as proportionate. I think these actually go really, really well. I wish they came as articulated, big hands, but we get small hands as the articulated form. So let me get some bots so we can compare them, and then we're going to do some weapons modification to Gaigar here. Well, here you have it, folks. Here he is with compared to some other bots here. There's Voltron right there. That's the Robo 3-0 Duo by 3-0 Voltron there that you have. There's Gaigar, we have Leo Prime from Transformers Legacy, and then we have little tiny magic square intelligence officer, aka Bumblebee. I think that's how big Bumblebee would be compared to Gaigar on that. So that's how he looks scaled to some other robots. So he's in his own little realm there. So we're going to move these guys out of the way because one of there's a couple things you can do. You could take Drill Gao and combine them to Gaigar, and you could take the Stealth Gao and combine them to Gaigar. So I just want to show you the couple other modes that you have with Gaigar that you can kind of do to have some more fun and playability and posability. The interesting thing is if you want to do all of his poses and have them all standing there like that, you'd have to buy like 5 or 6 GaoGaiGars. But I'll just show you just some of the different unique things that you can do with Gaigar before we get him into Final Fusion, which is the GaoGaiGar mode. And so here's the next mode you could put him in, and that's the Stealth Gao attached to Gaigar. Really simple attachment. Now with it on him, it does make him top heavy. That's why you do need that stand, but this is very cool. If you ever watch the show, this is what he uses to fly in to the battlefield. So what's really cool is the Stealth Gao, it tabs in there, and then there's some tabs on the back too as well. Let me just kind of turn it around a little bit. There's some tabs that go right in, but this is really, really, really awesome. I love this look, but I can't wait to get him into GaoGaiGar. But this is one mode that you can have him in. Arms are still posable, legs are still posable, and things like that, because all the weight of this is actually landing right here on the stand. So just nice with the black and the white contrast. I think it looks great. Putting his regular serious face back on is, I think, the only way to go with this one, because if he flies with his mouth open, you know, he's going to catch, you know, bugs in that mouth, and that grill of his. But let me show you one more mode that you can do with GaoGaiGar before we get him into Final Fusion. The last weapon form before we get into Final Fusion. Here is Drill Gao hooked up to GaoGaiGar with his big drill hands. So that's what's really cool, is I love the fact that these bots have so many different options that you can play with. This looks cool. The problem is it's a little bit top heavy. So like, for example, when I go to move the arm, it doesn't want to really stay, right? Because it's just, this thing is so heavy that the joints can't really support it. So that's about all you can kind of have him there on that. And then you got to just make sure he's balanced just right on those drills in order to have him stand. And so that's the little pain in the butt of this mode, is you really can't have him in like cool like poses with his arms out straight forward, you know, with those drills and things like that. It's just kind of just there. So with, at least with mine, my joints were loose. But what I love is within the instructions, they do give you some very cool specifics. For example, let me pull this in and we'll pull off one of these arms here. And what's cool is, so I can just show you if it'll come off. Yeah, there we go. So you see these grooves right here, they line up with these grooves right here, and so they just pop right in, and then you can just shut it just like that. So very simple. All of these have like grooves and things that you can kind of just line up and get it on. And now his hand is off, his peg leg hand, but that's okay, because you know what, in order to defeat the Zonders, we must get GaoGaiGar into GaoGaiGar into Final Fusion. So President, is Final Fusion approved? Final Fusion approved! Final Fusion! A few hours later, and boom, Final Fusion complete. GaoGaiGar, folks. This is the form he shall stay in, because this is amazing. This is freaking amazing. I love big robots, and I cannot lie. No other robots can deny when a robot walks in with an itty bitty. Anyway, so really cool, because Stealth Gao, Drill Gao, Line Gao, all combine to make this. So what's cool is the engines, when you push it in, the fists pop out, and so the engine covers pop off and the fists will pop out. Now, in order for those fists to fit in there, they're the small ones. Now you can, they have the bigger hand that's articulated. I mean, way articulated. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 points of articulation on these hands that you can put on. You also have the Heaven and Hell hands. Where are they? Where did I put them? I put them somewhere, oh, right here, which are already put together for Heaven and Hell. And there it is, that you can just kind of put it on there, and that he does that attack. And then you have the dividing driver that he'll be able to use. But that is a massive, 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 massive robot. He is huge, and I love, now there are some caveats and some pain in the butts about putting this together, and I had to do it all off camera because I didn't want y'all to see me cussing and getting frustrated at this thing, because I did get frustrated. I did start cussing at it and things like that. But there are some easy things about it, and then there are some tough things about it. But overall, the aesthetic is very nice. You get the extra lion mane that you put on here. You can keep that mouth open or closed if you want to. The legs do have some tilt and stuff as well. But let me tell you how big he is. Give me just a second here. So yeah, he is 10 inches tall. So if you want to scale him with my phone, that's what he's going to look like right there. You can see that 110 in the morning. Woo! And I got to get back up at around, well, my alarm's set for 11, so we're good. 110 in the morning with GaoGaiGar. But this is just freaking awesome. And the cool thing is there's more add-ons you can get. So Bandai Soul of Chogokin, there's these star options parts that I do have that we'll go over here probably in another vlog. And then you also have Goldie Marg that you can add to it. So that's just really, really cool. So let's bring him in a little bit closer so we can get a better look at Mr. GaoGaiGar here. And so, yep. Let's get it straight. There we are. And let me bring in just some extra height for us so we can see GaoGaiGar. There we go. And so a little extra height, but look, you can see this, the helmet fits over the face. You can see that it just pops up. Now it is connected back here, and I'll show you here in just a moment, but the lion, the black, the red, everything about this screams awesome. Just screams awesome. Taking its cues from like a Voltron or something like that. I just really love this. This is kind of like the early iteration of Megazords, things like that. So I just think this is so freaking cool. The articulation wise, I mean, the head, you do have some swivel. Now if you want more swivel, you have to take it off this back part, which I'll show you here. The waist, you have some swivel, and then the arms, I mean, these will come down, these can come up, way up like that. This, you do have more than about a 90-degree bend, and you do have twist as well. Now going back, you can't really go back because the wings are in the way. And then the legs, which you have the normal. This is Gaigar here, so you do have the more normal things. But the bad part about the legs, if I show you here, he's got the thick thighs, and so he's got that thigh rub where he's not going to be able to, you know, keep his legs together. But you do have the front. You do have that bend right there, so you do have some really cool posing options that you can do with him if you want to. So there we go. And then you do have ankle tilt too as well on GaoGaiGar here. So very, very cool. And then but yeah, let's just take a look from the front of this guy. And there, we'll just kind of pull it up and pull it down. Now let's take a look at the side. And then just to show you from the top, you can see where the head is kind of connected. But you can take that connection off if you need more, if you want some more head swivel movement. But there it is from the side. Just beautiful. Now, some of y'all y'all could see this little here. Some people like to hide that, but I will not, because in order to hook up the dividing driver, you got to put it right there. And then the back is just the stealth Gao, his wings, the treads. Those treads are just so cool. And then this side here. And so very, very, very nice. And so for the dividing driver, let me pull this back again here so we can get some more space so we can kind of see them. The dividing driver, here it is, and so it has a spot right here. And then the fist, you want to make sure you have the small fist in, because the large fist really won't fit well in there. So you just take this, you slide, you pop it on right here to the side, and then just slide it up, slide it up, and then you have the dividing driver in its form right there. Dividing driver, Miss Tespaka. But there it is, that you can kind of have that on. So cool. That's so cool. And then the dividing driver does have that that movement there. So freaking awesome. And then if I want to, like I said, I can take this smaller hand and replace it with, and give him a big hand. There we go. So something a little bit bigger with more articulation, you can put that on there. So that looks good. That looks awesome. So I'm going to put him in some poses. We're going to take some pictures, take some video. I just realized I forgot to show you from scale standpoint with other robots. So here he is with Voltron, of course, 3-0 Robo Duo, Intelligence, Bumblebee from Magic Square, and then of course Transformers Legacy Voyager, Leo Prime. So yeah, he a big boy. Now, if we were truly scale this, Voltron would be 3 times higher. He'd be off the charts higher than GaoGaiGar. So, but take it for what it's worth. It still looks great. Very cool robot. So now let's get back together for my final thoughts. And so my final thoughts on this wonderful, amazing robot that's not a transformer, GaoGaiGar. Let's bring him back in. I got him in the pose. I'm going to keep him with the dividing drive. And so GaoGaiGar. This is one heavy, hefty, big, beefy boy. I really enjoy him. I think he's great. I enjoyed the anime when I watched it, and I was like, man, I've got to get some of those toys. Now, Takara had made some original toys for this back in the 90s, 97, 98, but I need to get some of my hands on those, but they're a little expensive. Now, I do have a 97 Takara Guy Cyborg, which we'll review at a later date, but this Bandai Soul of Chogokin, it is a very, very good model. Some pros on it. I mean, just one of the coolest things is when you are combining him, it is almost like the transformation sequence that's in the show. You know, you put the feet in, the line Gao goes inside, and then the arms come down, and then when you put the engines in, the fists come out. So it is just so freaking cool. Now, there are some nuances and picky and weird things about it to putting it together. Like, I mean, it's just, you got to be exact in a few things. You got to be exact in the arms with the line Gao. Arm pieces out was really, really tough. And then getting these lined up was a little bit tough. But other than that, everything else was really, really easy. I love the fact that you can play with it in GaoGaiGar mode, and you can play with it in Galleon mode. You have the Stealth Gao, you have the Line Gao, you have the Drill Gao, and then you can take GaiGar and put the Stealth Gao on him. So you have Stealth GaiGar, and then you have the Drill GaiGar, and then the final form, final fusion GaoGaiGar, which is amazing. This, they're re-releasing it. I was able to pick him up on a really good deal on eBay, just a really, really good deal, a steal of a deal. But they are re-releasing Mr. GaoGaiGar, and I think like for like $380, $390 or something like that. Trust me, I didn't pay that much for it. If I don't have to pay full price, I'm not going to. But like I said, there are optional parts to really flesh him out like the show. So they have the Star GaoGaiGar art parts option set, which gives you a different Stealth Gao and some other pieces and parts. And then they have the Goldimarg set, which gives him his Goldimarg hammer, which is really, really cool. And so I've got both of those sets, and we will review that at a later date. And then I do have another GaoGaiGar that we'll review too as well, that's from a fourth party company. And then hopefully I'll get some Takara ones, and Enryu, I'd love to get him, and there's just some really cool bots. So when it comes down to it, when I'm really, really getting into some of these other robots, not just Transformers, but like, you know, Voltron, of course, is a love of mine. GaoGaiGar here, some of the Diaclone robots, some of the old Japanese TV show robots. So we'll be doing some of those reviews too as well. I'm really, really starting to dig that, and I hope you'll start digging it too, because that's where a lot of our childhood came from. It came from these shows in Japan. Transformers came from Henshin Cyborg, and of course Microman and Diaclone and all that kind of stuff, and Henshin Cyborg of course came from G.I. Joe, and then G.I. Joe was it, and then of course tuna cans, and also, anyway, you all saw the toys that made us. We all know where that went. But GaoGaiGar takes a lot of inspiration from Voltron. Some of the same dude, I forgot what his name was a very big inspiration for GaoGaiGar. And then a lot of what we have to owe for Megazords, Power Power Rangers, all that kind of stuff we owe to Voltron, GaoGaiGar, Transformers, things like that. So really, really awesome. All the other Japanese shows that are out there, we owe a lot to it from our modern day stuff that we have. So that's him. I love him on a scale of good, bad, awesome. This thing is freaking heavy, freaking amazing, freaking awesome. So I can't wait to review some of the other stuff for you and let you see those other things with GaoGaiGar. But in the meantime, you know, next time we'll review something else, good, bad, or awesome. But in the meantime, y'all remember, stay young, have fun, and be awesome, and go watch GaoGaiGar.
You